Sovereign Soul, welcome, welcome, welcome to day 4, week 3 here in the Soul Sanctuary. Welcome to Freedom Fridays. Circle, let's drop into breath. Deep inhale and exhale. First one, inhale. And exhale, let it all go. Second one, softer, deeper still. Exhale, let it all go. One more inhale. And exhale. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Welcome, 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 welcome to Sacred Circle. I am Lady Jasmine. This is Dragon Oracle. If this is your first time, welcome. If you are returning, welcome back. So wonderful to have you here. So, in Freedom Friyay Circle, this is a very low energy session where we just reflect on the week past. If you have questions for me about my practices, my devotions, my life, anything and everything, you're welcome to ask. It doesn't mean I'll answer, but most of the questions I answer. I love curiosity, encourage it. And we share weekly highlights, awakened plans, breathwork, songs, whatever wants to flow through, right? So, how are you doing today? How is your mind? How's your heart? How's your body? This has been really challenging week for me, navigating the pain body. I feel better today than I have all week, and I'm still feeling quite low. And one of the things we share in Friday Circle is our highlights for the week. And so I would love to hear, what were some highlights for you? What were some wins? What were some moments of joy in the week past for you? Comment down below. Let me know. Let us celebrate each other. For me, I woke up today. I woke up every single day this week, and I got dressed every single day this week, and I made my day every single day this week. Yes, some days it took me hours to get dressed, and yet I did. I got up, I got dressed, I sat in the sun. So grateful for the warm summer days, thawing my bones. So that's is a highlight for me, that I was able to get up and get dressed and take care of myself. Not in the best ways that I need, and yet in the best ways that I am able to show up for myself. So, deep gratitude for myself. Another highlight that I had this week was actually not necessarily like a highlight, like I'm just floating on cloud nine, but like I had this massive epiphany breakthrough yesterday. In the sharing of my emotions with a sister who Mama manifested a dream that I've been calling in. And I was feeling a lot of emotions, or rather, my little girl was like, well, why does she get what we've been wanting when she didn't even plan to get this thing anyway? And I held space for her all day, and then later in the evening I asked the sister if I could call her and just talk about some things. And I was able to just express and say, hey, like, I'm really happy that you're going on this trip and how awesome for you. And I'm also like feeling sad for myself because this was going to be the trip that I was going to take for my solar return. And she was like, well, I don't want you to be envious. And I'm like, no, 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 honey, like, I'm not envious at all. Envy is not really a word that exists in my orbit of field. It never really has. I've never really understood the energy of envy or jealousy. I mean, it's come up and I've noticed it and I'm able to quickly alchemize it, but it's not something that arises from within me. Like, it's not an energy that I understand. Like, I don't understand envy. I don't understand jealousy. Like, I don't understand competition. Like, those are words that don't really resonate with me because I view the world as we are all individuals and we're all worthy and deserving, and we all, what's meant for us will always be there for us, right? And that does not take away from the humanness of our being experienced, right? Like we can still have feelings when somebody else gets what we're hoping to get, right? And that's not necessarily envy, that's just like, ouch. Right? And so we were able to have this really beautiful conversation, and she acknowledged her defensiveness and acknowledged her own wounding around that. And that whole conversation that I had with her of just like expressing how I felt while also celebrating her, and her seeing and receiving and witnessing me and loving me, and also sharing about her experience and how that dream came to life for her, was so deeply healing that it cracked me open and gave me this profound clarity that I have been asking and praying for months, actually years. I've been asking for years, like, what are my next steps? Where do I go from Oregon? And I haven't had that clarity in a few years. And so that's the beauty of showing up and doing the soul work. That's the beauty of being vulnerable and being authentic and being in integrity with yourself, not as a performance, not to gain anything from anyone. It was really sweet because this sister immediately like started offering potential solutions on how I could go on this trip for her, and she was just going off and on, and I had to interrupt her. And I strive not to interrupt people when they're speaking, but I had to interrupt her and say, hey, stop, 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 stop. I'm not asking for a solution. I'm not asking for a solution at all. I just want to be heard in this moment, and I just want to be acknowledged, because there's so much power in witness. There's so much power in being seen in our mess, in our vulnerability, in our tenderness. And the world, the majority of the world right now is in such darkness, is still hasn't processed their woundedness, that the immediate knee-jerk reaction is to be defensive. And that was her immediate knee-jerk reaction, to be defensive. Thankfully, she is also a sacred sovereign who is on the path of empowered thriving. And so we were able to quickly clear that energy. But that was a highlight in the sense of, yes, it was emotional and it was difficult and it was messy and it was really uncomfortable. Like, I was holding my feelings all day, hours, actually, like a couple of weeks. I've been feeling like these feelings, and then I just couldn't hold it anymore. I'm like, I just want to be heard. I just want my friend to hear what I have to say. Like, can you just hear what the fuck I have to say? And then boom, that brought clarity on my next steps forward. Now, how is it going to happen? Goddess only knows, right? But that's okay. We don't have to know how, just as long as we don't get in our own way. And I was in my own way. And it wasn't intentionally being in my own way. It was just this unprocessed emotion, this deeper layer of my wounding, of not being seen, and further amplified by Chiron and Cancer, that was creating this blockage to my own discernment, to my own intuition. So that really intense, challenging experience ended up becoming a highlight for me, because a deep part of me healed in that witness. But that was not my intention. My intention was just to have a fucking conversation with my friend, be like, yo, like, why do you get what I was praying for when you weren't even praying for that thing, And from a quantum perspective, from an energetic perspective, I understand why. Like, and this is part of the eventual transition of the Soul Sanctuary Circle. The last month and this month, it's been really just open to anyone and everyone to come and be present in the space and feel my energy, feel this frequency, feel this vibration, see if this is a space you want to come into. But as we go into fall, winter season later this year, this space is going to be a deep conversation space for the dream weavers, for the grid walkers, for the new now earth leaders, for those who are truly committed to walking the walk, right? It's one thing to talk the talk, it's another to walk the walk. And for me, most of the last 10 years, I've been walking alone in the physical world, because walking the walk means accountability for yourself. Walking the walk means self-reliance. Walking the walk means you are the source of your motivation. You are the source of your empowerment. You are the source of your commitment. You're not, if you're constantly needing a coach to remind you to do your basic self-care stuff, then you are not in empowerment. You are in codependency. It's another when you have an accountability space like this where we meet once a week to check in. It's another thing when someone's literally holding your hand every single step of the way. And for years, for about a decade, I have been that hand-holding coach. I have been that hand-holding coach with my clients and in my inner circle, which has been absolutely draining for me. Talk about unhealthy boundaries. Hey, I didn't know any better, okay? Like, it's all good. We're all learning as we're growing. And I even had an incident this week where I was tested, where I had made plans with a sister, and I'm currently in a place in my life where I need more than I can give just because of where my body's at with its healing, where I'm at with the restoration of my life and my business. So I acknowledge that, and I let people, especially new people in my life, know up front, like, hey, I'm in a place right now where I need more than I can give. So if I'm giving and opening up space for you and it's not received, it's extra hurtful because I'm not giving from my overflow. And I recognize that. And it's not healthy to not give from my overflow for anyone. And yet, this is part of being in the human experience. This is part of building connection. This is part of being, building relationship, being honest with where we are and still choosing to show up, right? Growing in relationship is not about, we're just going to get together when things are good and we're having a party and everything's sunshine and rainbows. Like, that's not realistic, okay? We have shit days. Things come up. Things get triggered. We have feelings. Life gets hard, right? But if your knee-jerk reaction is to shut down and shut people out, that's something that you need to look into that wound of rejection, that wound of abandonment, that wound of not being seen, not being heard, that makes you perceive it is safer to be alone than to be witnessed. And part of my work, part of the reason I show up in my fullness, in my allness, is to show you that, hey, you might see someone who's successful, who's empowered, who is thriving in their own way, who's a best-selling author, who's a poet, a singer, a dancer. Like, yeah, all of this is really awesome. And I am also still in the human experience. I have days where it takes me hours to get out of bed, like 3 days this week. It took me hours to get out of bed, okay? But I'm honest about it. Like, hey, I'm just having a hard day. Or, hey, you know what? Today's a better day. Let's connect. And I'm learning a new way of being in the human experience now that I am coming into deeper acceptance of being ultra-abled. Is this going to be my identity for the rest of my life? Sure, I shit fucking hope not. And yet this is where I'm at in the now. And so this deeper acceptance of myself in my alter abilities and being open and sharing, this is where I'm at. So the highlight that came through for me was, I opened space to connect with this woman, and she reached out and said, hey, I'm having a really hard time. I'm just going to cancel. And I was like, okay, thank you for letting me know. Be well. And that was yesterday. And then today I woke up, I was like, maybe I should reach out, maybe I should, just be like, hey, I see that you're struggling, like encourage her, coach her through this, right? And I even sent her a message like, hey, do you have space for me to speak truth, right? Because that's part of consideration, is like, we just don't, we check in and make sure that the other person has space to receive us. And I get better at doing that every day, right? Sometimes I start talking, I'm like, ooh, I'm so sorry. Do you have space for this right now? But I've definitely gotten a lot better at making sure that the other person is in a place to receive me, right? If I'm going deep, right? If it's not just a casual, I don't really do casual, but if it's not just like a general, like, hey, I'm not doing so hot, can you XYZ? If I'm diving deep, I strive to say like, hey, do you have space for me to speak freely? And some hours passed and she finally responded. And then her response made me realize that I was going back into that pattern of rescuing, of codependency, of hand holding somebody who doesn't want to be held right now. Like, they made a very clear boundary with me. Like, I'm canceling all my plans, and this is what I feel is best for me. I don't even know what they said, but like, the point is, like, they made it very clear that they were not interested in being seen in their challenges. And so I'm very proud of myself. So that's another highlight, a personal highlight, a personal win. I feel like that's my biggest win this week. Okay, like, let's talk about our wins. Okay, my biggest win this week is not overextending myself and slipping back into that pattern of, I love you and I see that you're hurting and I want to help you. Please accept my help. We don't need to do that. Okay? Because there is nothing you can do or say to change anyone. People will open up when they are ready to open up, not because you tell them to. Not because you love them hard enough. Not because you do X, Y, and Z for them. Not because you change your life for them, okay? That's expectation that builds, that's premeditated resentment, right? Expecting that another person will open up because you're open and receptive is premeditated resentment. This is the power of deeply listening to understand. And I am a student of life. So deeply listening to her. And then she was like, yes, you can speak if blank, 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 blank. And I'm like, you know what? I'm realizing that it's best to not. And guess what? Even that small interaction created a huge trigger response. And I was like, okay, I wish you peace. May you reclaim the peace in your heart, mind, and body that you are seeking. Be well. And I was just very peaceful about it, and I just let it go. And there's a part of me, that old identity that has died, that's like, you're abandoning somebody who needs you. No, I'm not. They don't need me. They didn't ask for my help. They didn't ask for my support, right? They rejected my offering of support. That's just an old story playing out. So as we are now in this energy of this new moon in Virgo, and it's a big fucking energy, okay? Like, especially if you have Virgo sun, Virgo rising, Virgo moon, Virgo major placements like in your North Node, then this energy is an absolute 100% reset of your identity, of your routines, of what you are devoted to. And I dive deeper into, well, I didn't really dive into the Virgo energy, but I did dive into the new moon in Pisces energy in the tarot reading earlier this week, and gave a sneak peek into the eclipse season. So I do invite you to go check it out, because there's medicine and wisdom in there that could potentially be supportive if that calls you to. And ultimately the core collective transmission that's coming through with this shift of the sun into Virgo and the Pisces new moon opening eclipse season is the soul liberation, the cry of freedom setting you free, the sense of belonging setting you free, and belonging within yourself. Because if you don't feel like you belong within yourself, then it doesn't matter who you're in a relationship with, or what kind of job you're in, or where you are living. You will always feel like a stranger and like you don't belong because you haven't accepted that within yourself. And so freedom is found in accepting yourself and the present moment exactly as it is. You don't have to like it, but you can accept it. And in that acceptance, you set yourself free because you are not attached to the illusion of what the external world looks like. You recognize and are rooted in your present truth, and you recognize that the external is a reflection of the internal, and the external sometimes takes a minute to catch up to your internal shift. And so this eclipse season, we're starting to feel that shift. We're starting to see the shift in the physical reality, but not in its fullness. By the September new moon in Virgo at 0 degrees, we're going to see that total shift in our reality. So you need to really hold that vision within yourself right now of what am I energetically energizing? What am I visualizing? And yes, I recognize that it does not match my outer reality, that does not matter. So my freedom is found in accepting me, who I am, what I'm worthy of, what I'm deserving of, what I am ready and open to receive in this hand. And on the other hand, this is the present moment. And they may match and they may not, and both are okay. Freedom is found in every breath, in every grounded, loving choice that turns the ordinary into the sacred. And as you deepen in this acceptance of yourself, true liberation arises. True liberation arises from consistency in your daily rhythms, structures, and care that you give to yourself, to your home, to your family, to your pets. Like, it has to be balanced consistency in everyday life. And as you create that for yourself, you develop a strong foundation that nourishes sustainable, thriving, and empowered expansion. And then you become the embodiment of your soul truth. Embodiment isn't a goal. Embodiment is a natural unfolding of you showing up and striving for balance in your everyday life. So let's try to drop into breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. I would love to hear from you. Some takeaways for this week. I would definitely love to hear some of your highlights and wins for the past few days. And continue breathing into the space. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. I'm feeling some oracle cards call from the Earth Magic deck. So we're going to pull these cards. So next week here in the Soul Sanctuary, we're going to dive into the nervous system, the energy fields, and I'm going to talk a little bit about disabilities, right? And how do we navigate our nervous system when we have a disability, whether it's a visible or invisible disability, doesn't matter. How do we navigate the nervous system when there's a disability, and when there's trauma, that's still, when there's like trauma echoes is what I call them, okay? Because like we've healed the trauma, but there's still an imprint that makes us a little like reserved, shall we say, into trusting. So join me next week, Tarot Tuesday, Wisdom Wednesday. I'm not sure yet what kind of teaching. Okay, yeah, I know exactly what teaching I'm going to bring to you on Wisdom Wednesday. Talk Thursday, and then Freedom Friday, and we will be wrapped up with 2 months of the Soul Sanctuary Circle. So yeah, all right, let's get some oracle cards for today. What messages does the collective need to know for their highest and best good? All glory to the utmost high. Solitude, island. This is adorable because earlier in this transmission today, I was saying like be mindful of isolating, right? But there's a difference between isolating and solitude. This is saying to me that some of you may need to just take some time out to recenter into yourself so that you can make choices based on your soul truth and not because of everyone's opinion. What I just heard was you are in information input stimulus. Like you've been taking in too much information, too much. Like it's really good to ask for counsel and ask for wisdom and ask for support, but it gets to a point where it starts to saturate and override your own intuitive knowing. And so you're being asked to take a time out and to not fill yourself with any more information right now, and to let your body, your mind, your heart, your soul rest so that you can receive your own intuitive wisdom. Look at the bottom of the deck, new beginnings with dawn. That's right. We are in a new beginning right now, okay? This new moon is not necessarily about mama manifesting anything. It's about an emotional reset. And that means that you need rest. Okay? So allow yourself the time to rest right now, to journal, to feel, to process. Solitude does not mean isolation. Okay? You can absolutely reach out to a friend, to a partner, and ask them to just hold space for you to process. Or, share time together with a walk, right? Like a nature walk is really nourishing. I'm going for a nature walk later this evening to refresh my flowers. I love to refresh my flowers at least once a week. Go for a walk in the neighborhood, or go to the market, or go to the store if it's the season that no flowers are growing outside. So it's okay to have company in your solitude. Just be mindful of the company that you're choosing to have at this time, because your soul needs rest, not more stimulus, so that you can step into this new beginning with ease. And then the second card is Shaman, Ancient Healing Wisdom. This is telling me that there are ancestors that are present, that are wanting to connect with you at this time. And you're so external focused that you're not able to tap in or listen in to your own ancestral wisdom coming in. And so taking some time for yourself, taking some time to just do a social media detox, to just, tune everything and everyone out, will be really nourishing for you. And the third card is shape-shifting, okay? Recognize that you are going through a rebirth right now, and so, flu-like symptoms are really common. I did a psychic surgery on a soul brother earlier this week, and yesterday I was like, hey, you want to hang out, watch a movie. Like, I don't really want to talk. I just could use a friend. And he's like, I would love that, but I am on the fucking floor right now with the crystal on my heart, just like feel like absolute shit. I haven't been able to stop throwing up all day. Is this normal? I'm like, yes, my love. It is absolutely normal for you to feel like absolute crap when you're going through an upgrade recalibration, because like your body is clearing density and toxins and impurities and scar tissue from doesn't fucking matter what, it's just clearing it out. So recognize that you're going through a change and a rebirth right now. Your ancestors are with you to hold you and love you and guide you through this, and it's okay to be alone. Just be mindful to not shut people out while you are going through this rebirth. All right, so those are all the messages that I have for you today. That is all that I'm feeling come through with today's transmission. Let's close today's circle with 3 breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. 2 more. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments or in my emails. And I hope to see you next week on Tarot Tuesday for the live reading. And if you're there live, you get a chance for a personal reading. And if you are not there live, the replay will be available in the members area. So thanks so much for being here. Take care of your beautiful selves. Until we meet again, be gentle and kind. Bye for now.